year, Larry, is 616 wolves. That would be 4 to 5 times the number that they killed last year, 124. So they're hoping to expand it considerably. They're trying to kill up to 80% of the wolves in parts of Alaska that are about 60,000 square miles in size, including some federal public land.
This is all legal?
Well, it is, because this is the governor's, excuse the rather unfortunate terminology, but it's her pet project. The people of Alaska twice on separate ballots have voted not to allow aerial hunting, and she has put it back on the ballot with very tricky wording that was extremely misleading to the public. It was reinstated, and in fact she even used, I thought this was very clever, in an underhanded sort of way, $400,000 of taxpayers' money to persuade taxpayers how they should vote on the issue. And when the people overturned it, she had it reinstated in the legislature.
We reached out to the governor, have not got a response. However, on Wednesday, the governor released a statement. Here it is. It is reprehensible and hypocritical that the defenders of wildlife would use Alaska and my administration as a fundraising tool to deceive Americans into parting with their hard-earned money. The ad campaign by this extreme fringe group, as Alaskans have witnessed over the last several years, distorts the facts about Alaska's wildlife management programs. Alaskans depend on wildlife for food and cultural practices which can't be sustained when predators are allowed to decimate moose and caribou populations. Shame on the defenders of wildlife for twisting the truth. Roger?
Where do we start?
Yeah, where to start?
First of all, just dismiss the whole first part, because that's just the hyperbole. So just cross that off. We'll handle the middle and the last part.
Well, let me say, referring to us as a fringe group, I think Defenders of Wildlife has been around longer than Alaska has been a state. We have more members than Alaska has residents. So I think, and probably the 4th largest of the national environmental advocacy groups in the country. So the idea that we're fringe is a little strange. And as to extreme, I think probably we'd be happy to leave to the American people to judge who's extreme. People who support or champion the aerial killing of wildlife, or people who oppose it. So let's deal with those two.
What about people who say to you, Ashely, you don't live in Alaska, so there's 400 wolves. So what?
Well, I think that in terms of my response to that, Gandhi said it best. We know everything we need to know about a society by seeing how it treats its animals. And this is a conservation issue more than it is particularly an animal rights issue. And it matters to me because, as I said at the top, it's wrong on so many levels. And I think what I find particularly galling in the governor's statement is that somehow this is interfering with poor rural Alaskans' ability to subsistence hunt. That's a distortion. And in fact, there's a native tribe in the area who applied to be able to expand their subsistence hunting, and she said no. This is for urban hunters, it's for trophy hunters from out of state, and in terms of managing the population of caribou, wolves do that best. I mean, that's why the natives honor them as the animal that keeps genetic populations healthy.
Well said. Let me get a break. Ashely Judd and Roger Schlickeisen are with us. She's the famed actress. He is the president of Defenders of Wildlife Action Fund. Ladies of you are even talking about this. Get to it when we get back.
They get very loud about these animal killings. Like, is she as loud as she said? How many wolves have been killed? 900 this year. She as loud as the 260,000 kids that are killed in abortions. Like, I don't understand.
You know what? I do. That's a very, very huge
She's
jump.
using Sarah Palin, who has also been standing up for human rights and in terms of children's rights, to attack her for this.
You don't know if she believes. You don't know if she's animals, not children right now.
Hang on a minute. Don't tell me what I can think and what I can't
It
think.
would be nice if we could just stay in the area.
Socialist table here? You're gonna tell me I can make a jump if I make that
You
assertion.
can make the jump. It'd be easier to have the conversation if we could just stick to the wolves.
But I've actually responded. But first,
because what man has done. To answer your question is, I don't hunt, but some of my best friends are hunters, and some of the best conservationists in the world are hunters. Because how do we control what we've messed up? How do we control deer populations? How do you control wolf populations? Because of our ecosystem.
so you have no objections. I just was asking.
No, if it's done according to what the state regulations are by the Game and Fish Commission. Each state has a different Game and Fish Commission.
Roger, how would you respond?
Which in Alaska is appointed by Governor Palin. Isn't that convenient?
Well, that's That's right. I think, Jack, if he had been addressing the specific issue of the aerial killing that's going on in Alaska, and he was aware of the fact that hundreds and hundreds of scientists have repeatedly rejected this, repeatedly complained to Alaska's government and to Governor Palin in particular about this, because of the unscientific nature of this, he wouldn't be saying it the way he did. I don't think he meant to imply that he approved of aerial slaughter of wildlife in Alaska. I'm sure he didn't mean to.
Ashley, you think you're going to get it changed?
Oh, of course we are. Of course we are, Larry.
We have a suggestion, actually, that occurred to me sitting out in the other room. Larry, Governor Palin is very proud of this. Governor Palin is very proud of this program, and she thinks that it is the right thing to do. And I'm sure she believes in transparency in government, too. So my suggestion is that maybe she invites CNN up to film one of these aerial wolf killing outings. I'm sure other networks would like to come up, too. And then you could put this out for all of the public in America to see exactly what this is about, and she can proudly describe it and stand up for it.
And if you
Can't
wait
speak to
until she,
CNN, but I would bet they'd go. Yeah,
I
yes.
bet they go.
well, then they might want to wait until she expands it, because she now proposes that the aerial hunting include black bear sows and their baby cubs.
Ashley, great seeing you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Larry. Pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Larry. Pleasure.
And we're joined now on the phone in Juneau, Alaska, by Rod Arno, the executive director of the Alaska Outdoor Council. What do you make of this debate, Rod?
Well, we've been going through this with antis from outside of the state, thinking that they know how to manage wildlife in Alaska better than Alaska does for over a decade now.
But it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? A guy goes in an airplane, takes a rifle outside the airplane, outside the window of the airplane, and shoots a wolf. That ain't sport.
No, and a sportsman isn't allowed to participate in this control program.
Oh, what is it then?
Everyone who participates in this program has to get a permit from the state of Alaska, and no non-residents can participate in it, nor can they be gunners. This is clearly a control program to reduce the predation on moose and caribou.
Anything done with the skins?
Yes, every one of them is picked up and they're sold at a state auction at their fur rendezvous, and program to reduce the predation on moose and caribou.
Anything done with the skins?
Yes, every one of them is picked up and they're sold at a state auction at their fur rendezvous in Anchorage every it's in February, and then the money for that then goes to the department for funding.
All right, Roger, it's not done for sport. It is also not done to please some hunter. It has a purpose. How do you respond? You want to respond?
Yes, I have no problem with opinion, but it should be based on some facts. And it's easy for all Americans or anyone who chooses to go online to the state of Alaska, the Department of Fish and Game, and there's quite a bit of material on there about the science base behind this. Alaska's got the most reputable base behind this. Alaska's got the most reputable predator-prey scientists in the world. They're world-renowned, and very few people dispute that.
How do you react then to the criticism, Rod?
The criticism is from people that aren't up here participating in a predator-prey management scheme in an area that's got enough protected habitat to allow that to occur. If you look at the 100 people on the list that they're talking about, and very few of those are Alaskan scientists, and most of them are pretty minor. And in fact, the state of Alaska went and refuted the report, and they left it at that. They didn't question the state's management. And that's all. They left it at that. They didn't question the state's management.
Thanks for joining us.
That's all on the website.
Rod, thank you. Roger, we're gonna do a lot more on this.
Okay.
Maybe a full-fledged debate.
I'd love to respond a little more, so I hope you give me another chance.